is your host, Holly, and it's time for a little teaser talk. What's up, everyone? Happy Teaser Talk Tuesday. I'm so excited to have you guys listen to another kick-ass episode of Teaser Talk. Today, we have John Allen of Bury My Demons on, and, he was just an awesome, rad guy to have on the show. Super excited for you guys to hear it. It's cool because we connected actually on Instagram, and that's probably one of my favorite ways to connect with people. I guess that's the MySpace nerd kid in me, but connecting with people online is such a thrill because you get to see like the glimpse behind their life. You get to hear their music. You got to kind of see who they are, and then connecting over podcast is always a rad time. So without further ado, you guys enjoy today's episode. But before I let you guys take a listen, don't forget to hop over to our Instagram at Teaser Talk, and from now until July 15th, we are doing a giveaway for you guys to win a pair of tickets to Rocklahoma, which is the biggest, largest Labor Day party. And that's going to be 3 days of just kick-ass music. Go over to @TeaserTalk on Instagram, check it out, learn how you guys can enter to win. We are giving away opportunities to join us at Rocklahoma. So make sure you follow, enter to win for this giveaway, and then stay tuned for more.
Rocklahoma. America's biggest Labor Day party is back with the loudest lineup yet. This August 30th through September 1st in Pryor, Oklahoma, with, for the first time ever, Avenged Sevenfold, Slipknot, Disturbed, Evanescence, plus A Day to Remember, Lamb of God, and many more. Passes and camping on sale now at rocklahoma.com, starting at $10 down.
Happy Teaser Talk Tuesday, everyone. And for the first time in Teaser Talk history, I'm actually wearing the band shirt of the band that I'm interviewing. And for those who are listening in on the audio experience, obviously you have no clue what I'm talking about. So let me tell you what shirt I'm wearing. I'm wearing a Bury My Demons, not your demons, well, maybe yours too, but Bury My Demons shirt. And I'm here with John Allen of Bury My Demons. What's up, John?
Not too much. How are you doing today, Holly?
Just another day in paradise, living life.
Yeah, it's kind of paradise here.
Right?
My background is not where I'm at, but it's close to where I'm at.
I mean, we can envision it being paradise, right? So, LOL. Well, awesome. Well, let's get into it. I'm super excited about this because I know we've been connected for a hot minute, and we kind of chatted beforehand. But I'm excited to actually, go from Instagram interactions to now podcast interview. So, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I told you I saw your interview with Wayne from Hatebreed a couple months ago, and big fan of Hatebreed, and all those dudes. Jamie, one of my favorite vocalists ever.
Yeah.
And saw there was a potential fit for my band to talk to you, and glad we could get it set up.
It's a match made in music heaven. Well, perfect. Let's kick this off with, can you share telling us a little bit about the story behind Bury My Demons? How did the band come together?
Yeah, so I hadn't done music in probably like 6 or so years. Back when I was in New Jersey, I was in a band before and had met some really awesome people, throughout my time in the scene, even though we weren't really doing too much, just kind of hanging out and going to shows, but not playing shows. But that really ended, I guess, maybe like 2018 or 19, whenever I moved down to Austin, Texas. And I wasn't doing anything down there. And then I don't know what kind of came to be. Like, COVID happened, and I started feeling just like anxious and everything like the rest of the world. And then that year I moved to Colorado. So this is 2020. And then I had a roommate who said, hey, you should start doing music again. And I was like, yeah, maybe. So I sat on that for months. And then in like June of 2021, I reached out to a old school homie from the Jersey days,
Nice.
Christian Machado from Lions at the Gate. And I was like, hey, I saw he was doing, features for people and, helping with songwriting. So I reached out to Christian in like June, just to see if we could set up like a, meeting like this over Zoom. And we talked, and he's like, yeah, I'm happy to work with you. And I was like, yo, Christian, you've been one of my favorite singers for a while. very proud to call you a friend. I would love to have you featured on the song as well. And he's like, dude, absolutely. So Christian got with Aru, the guitar player in Lions at the Gate, one of the two, Diego, my other homie. But yeah, he got with Aru, and then Christian sent over like a raw chorus for our debut song "Without You" before I hadn't written anything. And then over the next year or so, we just kind of started working together. I wrote the lyrics on my way to New Jersey from Denver. I wrote half the lyrics, maybe half, and then I wrote the other half on the way home a week before we recorded it.
That's awesome.
And the vocal cadences were kind of already written, how, Christian and I had kind of put it together. And I was like, I need a name for this project. So I was driving probably close to where my background is one day. And, I forgot who I was listening to, but they kept saying, my demons, my demons. And I was like, what my demons, what my demons? And then Bury My Demons came to me, and it was just going to be a solo project. But earlier that summer, I had met Gustavo out at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood for the Lions at the Gate debut show. So there's a lot of tie-ins with Lions at the Gate. And we had been connected for a little bit. And then I was like, hey, if you're ever back in Denver, I'd love to do something together. I just started the solo project. And he's like, hey, I'm moving back to Denver. And I was like, all right, well, let's meet ASAP. So we met like a week or two later, talked for like, 3 or 4 hours, and just really clicked as like bros. And then he became the second official member. And then it just kind of went from there. He introduced me to Roger. Roger introduced me to the rest of the band. They all knew the rest of the band. And, here we are just a little over a year and a half later, and, we're Bury My Demons.
I love it. You guys just had a song that was released, To You, My Sorrow, and it's already making waves. Can you share the inspiration behind that track and what it means to you personally?
That is probably the most personal. I might get a little emotional here. That's probably the most personal song we have right now for me. So I'll talk about the hard stuff first, and I'll talk about the fun stuff. So I never knew my biological father, and I've always wanted to write a song about him. And I wrote a song about my dog's trying to comfort me here.
No.
I wrote a song about him in my other band back in New Jersey, but it wasn't nearly as emotional as this one. It was very, this is what it is, whatever. There wasn't there was thought put into it, but not nearly as much as this. And then I don't know how that kind of came to be, but I remember back in, I believe, January, Roger and Mikey were working on the music portion of it. And it was like, I had showed Roger this one song that I had showed Roger this one song that had this really cool, like, melodic part in the bridge. And I was like, yo, I want to do something like that. And then he started writing a chorus that was like really just like loud and catchy musically. And then they had the intro, which was insanely fast. And I was like, that doesn't work together. Like, I was like, he's like, no, trust me, it's going to. So him and Mikey were working on it, with the drums and guitars. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go home. And I trust you guys. And whatever you come up with, I'll hear it whenever you finish. The next day, they sent over the music track to me. And I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Like, this is so well done. And so we finished the music, and then I listened to it like once or twice. And then I came up with, I think, 90-something% of the vocal cadences, just like making noises, not writing words.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote a whole first draft, and it was very detailed about, this is exactly what it's about, no room for interpretation. And then I think we kept maybe 25% of what I first wrote. And then the rest of the band, the 5 of us, all contributed to the lyrics and made them a little bit more easily connected for people that with something that's not the exact same, but they can relate it in their lives. And then why I'm getting super emotional. I never knew him. From my understanding, he's a good guy. But I, didn't want to, necessarily talk bad. I just don't know the guy. So that's always impacted me. And then in April this year, I was adopted by my aunt and uncle.
Mm.
April this year, my dad that adopted me from when I was a little, a few months old, he passed away. And it was just insane timing with everything. I wrote a song about, my biological father, who I don't know. And then to me, dad, who raised me, he passed away, unfortunately. And it's been a tough few months. And then when it got released, it was a little difficult to swallow just because all the emotions poured into it and everything going on. But, I love the song. I'm able to sing it live. There's certain songs that, I've written that are very difficult for me to get through. Yeah. But that one, it's so fast and heavy and aggressive that it's fun to play, and I can separate while I'm singing it, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you sharing that and being vulnerable, because I mean, so many people can relate to that. And I know you said like it's relatable even if that's not your situation, but just to share with you, I can totally relate to that. Like I never knew my biological dad. I met him like a handful of times, but the times I met him, I never felt comfortable calling him dad. I just called him hey you, because it was weird, right? Like to call somebody dad is like, to me, it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Like never got to know him, whatever. Didn't even know if he was alive. And I got a weird Facebook friend, like Facebook message request. And there's a girl, and I knew he had children, but I didn't know how many. I didn't know names. It's just a weird, strange relationship. And she was like, I just wanted to confirm and see if you were my half sister. My dad committed suicide. And I was just like, whoa, like, and that was this year too. So I feel your emotion.
I remember you.
Yeah. You saw the post. Yeah. And I mean, like, I try to be upbeat and, happy and giggly all the time, but there's some times where you just got to like, damn, I'm feeling this. I need to share this to maybe someone who's experiencing the same thing, or maybe somebody who, they have that estranged relationship. They just know that it's not uncommon. You know what I mean? And I say that in the sense of a lot of times you go through those moments and you just feel alone, or you feel like, you see people like on Father's Day. I'm not gonna lie, Father's Day was so tough for me this year because of that. Cause I was like, damn, like
Father's Day was very difficult this year.
Yeah, I was right there with you.
Yeah. And, I to me, the man that raised me, along with my mom that raised me, their mom and dad, my biological mother is my aunt, and I love her to death. We have she'll probably watch this. So Susie, I love you. And Mom, I love you too. But she'll her and I have a great relationship, and like it's I needed to write the song, you know what I mean? Because I've always wanted to. And then, a lot of Bury My Demons is talking about like the reason the name of the band is Bury My Demons. So like I go through mental health, struggles. And I, want other people to like we were talking about with Hatebreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds angry. Yeah, it's aggressive. Yeah, it's fast. Yeah, it's like, oh my God. But I want people to see those lyrics, kind of relate to those lyrics and feel uplifted. A lot of the music I grew up listening to is very depressing. And, whether you intend to do that or not, when you're listening to it, it can put you in a place. And we definitely have our songs, that are depressing, but I want to at least make sure there's like a little bit of hope in every song. Like that's my goal. So if like, if a kid getting into metal, like when I was getting into metal in middle school and high school, listens to Bury My Demons, they feel the way they feel when they listen to Hatebreed. Like I feel empowered. I feel like I can do this, that's what I want to do. And in helping other people helps me. Like if someone tells me that, our lyrics or our music helps someone, I'm like, all right, that's amazing. Like, that's what I want people to take away from Bury My Demons. Like, and that's why we're called that. Cause we're facing them and we're burying them. We're kicking their ass.
I love it. And to me, that's true legacy, right? Like creating something that's it's there. It's always going to be there. Right. And helping people. So yeah, kudos to you. That's amazing. So speaking of music, to set the mood a little bit lighter and, shake off those emotions, which is good. Always embrace your emotions, people. I'm not trying to do that. But, exciting news is you guys are going to be playing a show with Lions at the Gate in Denver. How excited are you about this performance? Because I feel like that's kind of like they from the very start of your journey of the band creation, they're there. So how excited for it, and like what can fans expect to see?
It's honestly a dream come true.
Mhm.
I've been a fan of Christian since I was maybe 2006 when I've heard them. Jamie Josta was hosting Headbangers Ball.
I
I
love
saw
it.
This Is War by their former band, and they all had dreadlocks. They all looked badass. I always wanted dreadlocks, because Corn, and then all my favorite musicians.
Yep.
So I had little tiny dreads in high school. They were not great, and they don't look nearly as good as Gus, the lead guitar player in the band. He's got dreads like down to his ankles. But I've been a fan of Christian forever. He's one of my favorite singers. I looked up to him as a role model, and I still do. And yeah, like doing the song with him and Aru, that was awesome. That's a dream come true. And then, I was talking with Diego, a little while ago, and I was like, I'd love to play with you guys one day. And then we got a call from the venue. They're like, hey, we got a band here, coming in. They want you guys to play with them. So I was like, you son of a bitch. I was like, thank you. And then, yeah, so I can't wait. I'm beyond excited. I think it's going to be a really good show. We got a couple of little surprises thrown into the set, I'll leave it at that.
I love a good teaser.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't wait for it. It's going to be a blast. And I can't wait to see them throw down their new song, Can't Feel the Sun. It just came out last week, and see what that sounds like live. It's gonna be really fun, and we love those dudes, and we love Denver, so can't wait.
I love it. So after next week and after that show, what's next for Bury My Demons? Do you guys have any upcoming tours, new music that you guys can kind of tease us with, or exciting projects in the pipeline?
I mean, we don't have any tours scheduled right now. I know we're always open to opportunities. We have another show, I should say, here in Denver with Widow 7 is headlining that.
Nice.
And then we have our good friends in the band Adola who will be joining us. We played our first show with them last year at the same venue. And we have that coming up in, I think it's August 24th here in town. And then I believe, I cannot commit to it, so do not quote me on this. I believe
Allegedly.
that we should be having some new music dropping around then as well. So
Nice.
we'll see what happens, but little possibility, might happen.
I absolutely love it. So looking back on your journey, what has been the most challenging experience for the band, and how did you guys overcome it?
I think for me personally, I can't speak on that for the rest of the guys. It's just, the other, members in the band are all very experienced, within the industry, touring, writing, playing shows. My first show of my life was last year with Bury My Demons. I've done open mics before. I've had insane opportunities to be on stage with some of my favorite bands before, but it was never people coming to see me. It was an open mic, or it was, Machine Head. Like, no one's there to see me. And, for me, like, it's gotten better. And I feel like since my dad passed away, my nerves have kind of subsided, because I feel like he's inside of me. He's like, hey, you got what it takes. You just got a little bit of push. So my dad's still with me, giving me that push. But I think for me would be just the inexperience, not really knowing what to expect, and then everything happening really quickly, and just trying to literally reset myself and calm down. And, my band, those dudes are my brothers. Like we're very open the way we communicate. And, I can call those dudes at any time at night. Like, we made a video last week of me calling Gus 37 times. that's not a joke. I might call Gus 37 times, but those dudes are my homies. They're my brothers, and I love them. And they've helped me get through these challenges of just getting my feet wet, so to speak, into the music world.
Well, the good news is you don't have any bad habits to break, so it's like a clean slate, right? So
I do have a bad habit, and I don't know where it came from, but I hold the microphone the wrong way because I hold it like this.
Hey, is that a bad habit, or is that like your signature?
Oh, well, you can't hear me, so it is a bad habit. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Scratch that. Is a bad habit.
Yeah, because I didn't know it. I was like, I think it looks cool, if I'm going like this. And then,
Aesthetic.
last week at practice, they're like, hey, try this. And I'm like, oh, dude, I can hear myself now. It's incredible. Like, I've just been hoping it sounds okay.
That is awesome. So we always love a good giggle. Can you share any funny or unexpected moments during performing on stage or recording sessions?
God, there's countless. We document a lot of them too. Last year, I mean, I could go on forever. Like, there's we look like we're very serious. We are the most unserious dudes. We're serious about the music, but we don't take ourselves seriously, if that makes sense.
100%.
But like, I remember, like, Gus always makes me laugh. Roger makes me laugh all the time. Mikey makes me laugh, and Kenny, he made me laugh. But last year we were writing our song Empire, and we had it rolling in case anything funny happened. And it was during Game 7 of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, Devils versus Rangers. I'm a diehard Devils fan. And they're writing, and I was like, guys, I'll be there, but I will not be there. I was like, I'm going to be watching the Devils. It's Game 7. Like, they need to win. It's our biggest rivals. And there's a clip, and I can send it to you afterwards.
Please do. And if you said too quickly, if you're cool with it, I'll throw it into this podcast episode for the video part.
The guys are doing their thing, and I think I'm even saying something, and the Devils score a goal, and I just flip out, dropping F-bombs left and right, like going, let's go, like, just because it was such a huge game. But there's so many moments like that. I remember we were in Vegas last year, and just like all the jokes, or we were in LA, but we stayed in Vegas for a night. But like all the jokes that, we have as a band, like Gus calls me his little putito, it's just, I mean, we're such good friends. Like, we make fun of each other like we're brothers, because we are. So I could literally go on all day about all the stories, because, I look forward to working with them, because I know that I'm going to laugh for probably half the time I'm there.
I love that energy. I absolutely love it. So just a quick question. Also thank you for this rad shirt for like camera view so you guys can see it. But for people listening in, you guys have this available online in a merch store, or they just got to go catch it at a gig?
We have our link tree up. Harley, it's okay, sweetie. We have our link tree, but you can also go to burymydemons.com. And then from there, there's a tab at the top. You can see our shop. You can see our upcoming events. You can see all our music that's been released to this date, a quick little blurb about us as well. But yeah, burymydemons.com will get you all the information that you need. And then if you want to come to a show, we would love for you to buy a shirt. We'd love to hang out with you, talk to you, get to know you. Like, we're nothing without, the fans. So we appreciate everyone that supports Bury My Demons in any capacity.
I absolutely love it. So lastly, before I let you go on about your day, you just dropped, of course, everyone can go online and check out merch, new music. But what's the best place for you guys to go as far as people following your journey on social media or anything like that?
Yeah. So I think it's just facebook.com/Bury My Demons. Then our Instagram is a mouthful. I think we're going to change it, because when I started the band, Bury My Demons was taken by someone with, 1 follower. And I'm like,
that's the worst.
And then I was trying to get creative, and I was like, well, it's easy to read, but it's hard to say. But anyways, it's Bury_my_demons_metal. So it's a mouthful to say.
Hey,
to
I've had a lot more in my mouth than that, so that's pretty that's pretty easy to remember for sure. And you guys listening in too, I will make sure to hyperlink the links that we had mentioned, so you guys can quickly just hop in and click on a click of a button to navigate to their store, their socials, all the cool stuff. And John, I just want to say thank you so much again for being authentic, real, vulnerable, and then just being a kick-ass dude. I appreciate you so much for being on.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on. Giving Bury My Demons, the chance to kind of talk about who we are. And yeah, like I sincerely appreciate it. So thank you for everything.
Absolutely. Well, everyone listening, make sure you go follow them. And then until next week, keep rocking.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Teaser Talk. Head over to teasertalk.com to subscribe so you don't miss out on another episode. Until next week, keep rocking.